You're watching The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler at your mom's house.
Welcome back to The Honeydew, y'all. We're over here at Studio Jeans, doing it at your mom's house. I'm Ryan Sickler. You can follow me on social media at Ryan Sickler, website ryansickler.com. I'd like to say thank you to everyone in Edmonton that came out to the shows. It was great meeting you, great seeing you, fantastic club. Some other dates, June 13th through the 15th, I'll be in Richmond, Maryland, and Atlantic City with Tom Segura. Also, June 27th through the 30th, I'll be in Tulsa, Wichita, and Kansas City with T-Nuts. And August 1st through the 3rd, I'm at the House of Comedy in Minnesota. I'll have a date in September for Baltimore. And again, I every week, I just want to say thank you. More and more emails, more and more messages. I'm glad this matters to you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. It makes me feel good. And so please make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you download, review. Make sure you're subscribed to your Mom's House YouTube page. The website here is thehoneydewpodcast.com. You can get to all the social media links and follow on Twitter and Facebook that way. Merch is there. I love seeing you guys send pictures of your merch, hoodies, stickers, whatever you're getting over there, shirts. And you can email me at honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're new to this show here, what we're doing over here is highlighting the low lights. We like to laugh at the not so fun times, and these are the stories behind the storytellers. And today, my honeydew is one of my favorite people. Has been so good to me, so fucking funny, so diverse. Jeremiah Watkins.
Hey, buddy.
My man.
How are you
doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you for having me on your podcast. I was telling Jeremiah here that your podcast, I was talking to Best Stelling. I called Larson, told him, like, it's the most fun I've had on a podcast in a long time. It's just silly and fun and ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't say the word silly.
It's just about having fun and being and having a good time, you know?
It's such a good
Get to do characters. There's weird sound effects and voice filters. It's just a good time, you
Mike
know?
Piazza called in on my episode.
I know. He got you anal. It's crazy,
It's
man.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's wild.
That guy finally called in, man.
He came through, man. It was
did.
good.
He came through twice.
Yeah.
Got me anal and then called me to talk to me about it.
It was a full
thank
circle
you, Mike
moment.
Piazza.
Yeah, thank you, Mike Piazza. Appreciate that.
Please go ahead and plug whatever you'd like. Your podcast, you have a new album coming out. Get it all out there.
Yeah, as Ryan said, I've got a great podcast called Jeremiah Wonders. Check it out on youtube.com/Jeremiah Watkins. And I have a new album coming out, my debut comedy album with my boy Patty Reagan. It's called Reagan and Watkins. It's a music comedy album. Comes out on June 7th on all platforms. You can follow me on social media at Jeremiah Standup. Go to jeremiahwatkins.com for tour dates and videos and different stuff like that. And I think that's about it. Kill Tony. Check us out every Monday live at the Comedy Store.
Great show.
Stand up on the spot once a month at the Comedy Store.
Great show.
And then part of Roast Battle in the Comedy Jam. So a lot of different shows around LA. So a lot of chances to see me. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you came on here, and I'm so glad I asked you to send me some stuff ahead of time, because you sent me something that I didn't know, and I also didn't know it was so recent. So do you mind if we
let's
talking about
let's
that?
dive right into it.
You're a survivor of skin cancer, and I said, what does that mean? You survived skin cancer?
Yeah, because you didn't even know.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And this was just 5 years ago, 4 years ago,
in 2014.
Post Crab Feast episode, you said. So
I think so.
Because I said, did you talk about this on there? And you're like, I don't think I had it yet.
Or I don't think so. And if I happened to do the Crab Feast like in 2015 or 16, I wasn't at a place yet where I was comfortable talking about it. You know what I mean?
So what happened?
So basically, it was one of those things where I had a spot on my back that...
And a spot. Is it a mole? It was a
mole.
Dark? Okay.
It was a dark, discolored mole.
Raised?
And it was raised. And it was almost like... It was very dark, but it was bordering another mole. So it was like a mole on top of a mole. So it looked a little weird. Mm-hmm. But the thing is it started to grow. I started to get like a little bit bigger. And it's on
Was it sore?
It wasn't sore. I didn't have... What's scary about the whole thing, I didn't have any of the symptoms. That they went down a huge checklist when I finally went in, like later on, and like, did you have any of these symptoms? I didn't have any of those. That's what was kind of scary about the whole thing. But it was like a darker, like almost like a black speck bordering like a raised like brown mole. It was like It just looked discolored and like off. It looked like, you know, I have moles like this all over my body, like all these freckles and stuff like that. I'm a white guy who, you know,
didn't use sunscreen.
European, didn't use sunscreen.
Yeah.
Burn easily. So my wife and we were like boyfriend, girlfriend at the time, and we weren't even engaged yet. She noticed that it was like changing. She's like, hey, you might want to get this checked out. I'm like, I'm doing the guy thing, you know, where I'm like, it's not a big deal. I don't really want to go to the doctor. And I just kind of kept brushing it off. And she would keep an eye on it. It's on my back. I literally never see this thing.
Right, yeah.
Where it's positioned, like I would have to look in the mirror directly. Like I would have to keep an eye on it like that. So I'm never looking at it. I'm just toweling off. I went home to
dentist mirror back there. Like,
just, what are we doing back here? So I go home to visit family, and
so even as it grows, there's no pain or anything like that.
No pain, no discomfort. It's not like one of the things that's a symptom is if it's itching.
I was about to ask, does it itch all the time?
Didn't itch. It's in a place where it's like kind of like here's my spine right in the middle of the back. It was like right around this area right here.
Okay. So
it's not like in a super sensitive area. It's just like whatever. And I go home to visit my mom, my family, and my mom notices when I'm going from the bathroom to the bedroom, like just in a towel. She sees me literally like as I'm walking. She goes, "What's that spot on your back?" And I was like, "Oh, it's whatever. Like I think it's just a mole." And she goes, "I think you need to get this checked out." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever." Had a lady, a third woman in New York. We were doing roast battle. I was out there with Willie Hunter and Jamar Neighbors at the Gramercy in New York, and we do a show, and we get shirtless a lot on roast battle. Yeah, we do. We'll get into that later. And a lady who is a doctor pulls me aside after a show. She goes, "You really need to get that spot checked out."
Are you fucking serious? She's so a doctor at roast battle spots you shirtless from the crowd and is like, "Hey man,"
it's like something's wrong with that. It's like, "Hey,
you know,
idiot,
when you were doing that
out.
live birth act on stage over there, I noticed the discoloration on your back that you should probably get.
There's a bordering issue with that mole on your back that's not sitting well with me as a dermatologist.
It's not the brown one under so much as that big black one that seems to be growing while I'm looking at it.
Yeah, what's happening?
So that's when you finally were like, okay, that's it? Or are you still not? You're still not.
I mean,
enough
no.
You had three opinions.
I had three opinions. At that point, I was like, all right, like I had already told my wife and my mom that I was going to make an appointment, and I had one like for like a month. I was like, all right, I made one. It was like for a month out. Like, so like that. There's a perfect storm of three women that were like, listen, quit being an idiot dude about this and being too cool for school to go to the doctor and go get this thing checked out. Because I was making fun of it. Like as a comedian, you know, like I was starting to name it and stuff, like just be stupid. I shot this sketch that never got released where I've got like, I literally have like moles and freckles like all over my body. And we did this sketch where I pulled my shirt off and we traced with a Sharpie the moles on my back, and it spelled out cancer on my back. So I'm literally just like making fun of it. I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Like I'm invincible. I'm just a young guy, whatever. And I go to the dermatologist and they say they're doing a body scan. I've never done one before. They're like, okay. And the doctor goes, huh. He just stops.
Fuck that.
And he goes, I usually don't do this. We're going to remove that today. We're going to cut that out right now. He goes, usually like there's a follow-up or something, but he goes, I really want to get this off to the lab. It just doesn't look right. So they cut it out. And it's the size, they cut out like a quarter size out of my back. Like, cause it was starting to get big. Like it was like probably, I don't know if you can see,
big as
like,
a quarter.
Like they have to take skin out around it too. So like it was like, you know, it was probably the size of a dime at that point.
So when it kept growing, was it more that it was widening, or was it getting puffier? Like
it was growing in like depth, and it was also like the bordering was like getting all weird. It was literally like something that was like going, right? You know,
like an amoeba.
Yeah, you know, like the Pillsbury, like those biscuits, like when you pop it, like
yeah. And it just grows
and
up.
It slowly slides down the side. That's kind of what it was like. Just slowly sliding around a little bit. And I went back home in 2014 to visit family over Christmas break, and I got a phone call while I was at home in Kansas.
Okay, so hold on. So they take it out while you're there in New York.
No, I'm back in LA at this point.
Back in LA, he takes it out. And how long from that point to you going back home to visit? Weeks?
It was a week or two.
A week or two.
Because they said, if you don't hear anything from us, that's good news, which is always like, whatever. That's a weird policy to have. Like, if you don't hear anything, I guess it's good.
But how long is it before I'm supposed to hear something?
I know.
Like
it's
6 years?
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't hear from us in 20 years, everything's probably
I think
fine.
you're solid, man. Don't worry about it. So it took like, a week or two. And I got the phone call while I was in my mom's kitchen in Kansas. And she knew. She is a mother's intuition. Like, I was like, okay, yeah. They called me and they're like, hey, is this Jeremiah? And the whole time leading up to this, while I'm at the dermatologist, and like I'm literally joking like in my head about everything. Like they asked me, like I went to a very LA dermatologist because I didn't have insurance at the time, and I found like the cheapest one that I could. And they asked me
it's out of a breakfast truck.
Yeah. All right, you want
y'all
an omelet?
Skin tags?
All right.
Skin tag?
Want some skin tag? You want an omelet? You want a breakfast burrito? We'll check you real quick. All right, let's do this.
Should probably get that black mole look there.
Yeah,
right
I mean, that's a little bit too much pepper on that thing over there. So the whole time I'm just like joking about the whole process. They asked me on the sheet if I have a preferred name to be called, and I put down Stardust because I thought that it would be hilarious if I got the call later like, Stardust, you have cancer. So I'm just joking about the whole thing in my head. And
but are you joking because
I'm a little bit scared?
Yeah,
I'm a little bit scared on the inside because there's enough people who are looking at me a little weird now where it's starting to not be as funny to me anymore. So I'm just using this as like kind of like a healing process, like we do as a defense mechanism. Just like, whatever, like I'm just kind of trying to brush this off. And when I get that phone call, they told me on the phone, they go, you have stage 2 melanoma. You need to have surgery immediately. We don't know how far it started to spread, but it's serious. Like, and I'm listening to this phone call and I'm just staying calm and
that's what they're telling you, it's serious?
That they're telling me it's serious on the phone. And my mom she's looking at me like while I'm taking the phone call, and I'm trying to stay calm and collected so she doesn't freak out. And then she knows that it's that call that I've been waiting for. She goes, who was that? I goes, it was dermatologist. And she's like, well, what did they say? I go, I have cancer, they said, and I need to have surgery soon. And she started crying, of course, and she's like, whatever it takes, we'll get taken care of. And but we started the process right away while I was in Kansas.
Okay, that's what I want to ask. So you get the call and you're going to be there for a while for the holidays.
I'm going to be there.
Right?
I used to back around that time, like the first like 5-6 years that I was living in LA, I would go back for like at least like 2.5 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. So I was planning on going back for a couple weeks. I was already back there, and I was like gonna be back.
You're not
going to
wait 2 weeks to go get this shit started.
Right, but the problem is like we start weighing options. Like, okay, I could go out to LA. I don't have insurance. I have zero insurance right now. Like,
and
this is
stage 2 fucking cancer.
Yeah. So this is at a time when I was at the time, like, and I'm grateful that I'm still able to be pursuing comedy full time. But that was like at one of those precipices in my career where I'm doing it full time, but I'm struggling pretty hard in 2014 to make anything, like just stay afloat month to month. But I'm excited that I'm able to just do comedy. But going with that, sometimes like you have to make sacrifices, like no insurance. So what my mom does, she's worked at UPS for years.
Shout out to UPS,
shout
Baltimore
out to UPS,
Hub, Primary
man.
One.
What
Joe,
up, man? How you doing here?
I didn't know your mom.
Thank you for your service.
How did I not know your mom worked at UPS?
We haven't talked about it, man.
What does she do at UPS? Or did she do?
She's a spa, a scanner.
Yeah,
she scans the packages.
Yeah,
you know what's up.
Is she the next day airs? She out there in the trailer getting the next day airs ready for the planes and shit?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
No, she's literally standing in one spot, like putting the labels on, zap, scanning packages, stuff like that.
And where?
In Kansas, Olathe division.
Olathe,
You want me to make a call?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk to the people at the
All right,
hub
cool.
down there. Yeah,
Ronnie!
I used to be a Teamster.
Ronnie, this is sickle cell.
My doctor said
Been
that
a
to
minute,
me,
player. Hey, how you doing, man? What are we doing here, man?
I mean,
Hey, I want to thank all the
not the
UPS
sidetrack. I
people on the
literally
show,
went
man.
for.
Thank you so much, man.
You got.
I want to thank all
you
y'all,
and Dan Van
man.
Kirk did a great
All right.
job in imitating me. I listened to it. By the way. Dan nails my laugh because you have to do it while you're talking. That's the,
yeah, I know
that's
that.
the key.
I like. I didn't want to take
his.
his. I didn't want to take his.
When
His
he
is very
does it,
good.
I'm like, you got the
Yeah,
best one.
yeah.
But I went
You sound
to
like your laugh when you get really excited. Sounds like a monkey that's being choked. It's like,
yeah. I went to the doctor this morning for a physical, and because of your post the other day about skin cancer, I fucking told him, I was like, check these moles out right here. He's like, yeah, that one's a little dark.
oh,
right
that's
there.
a Jeremiah Watkins mole right
So
there.
I'm gonna guess what I'm gonna call it my Jeremiah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to keep the jokes less. I'll be all serious about it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, cut whatever the fuck you need and send that shit off.
Yeah.
All right, so process begin. You're like, fuck
The process
this, we're
begins.
gonna go
My
in
mom
Kansas.
has to. Yeah. Well, we thought about LA. I didn't have insurance. She goes, "We're gonna do it here in Kansas, and I'm gonna get you signed up on my insurance." So she signed me up on like Cobra Insurance as quickly as she could, and it took only like a week to get me like
That's
started
good,
on the
yeah.
insurance. And there was a chain of events that happened that, I'm very extremely grateful for. That if you believe in higher power or whatever, there are certain things that happened that were so perfectly aligned that I'm still blown away that it happened. So she's cleaned houses for years along with working at UPS, making that under the table cash
Yeah,
player.
I know
You know what I'm talking about?
I've been paid a long
Come on,
time.
man.
under
You
the
know what
table.
I'm talking
What
about.
tax
Yeah.
return?
Yeah, all right.
What tax return?
Welcome back to HoneyDew, y'all. Okay, man. So she gets me signed up on her insurance, and one of the doctors that she cleans houses for is a great doctor in Kansas, and he knows the head of oncology
Damn.
at KU. He makes a favor on behalf of my mom because she's been cleaning his house for like 15 years. And they get me into surgery within another week after that. So like this
2
all
weeks you're
happens like around Christmas time in
Yeah.
2014. Like it was the weirdest Christmas of my life. Because I'm having to,
You got cancer for Christmas. For
I have
Christ's
cancer for
sake.
Christmas.
Jesus Christ.
Worst gift ever. Santa, I don't want this. You've been a naughty boy this year. I'll take the charcoal or the lumps. No,
Give
you
me
get
the coal.
cancer.
Give me the coal. You're getting cancer.
No,
Jeremiah.
give me the coal.
You be the real asshole.
Yeah. So my, it's also at an interesting time in my relationship with my now wife. I'm like telling her like she's like wanting to stay there for the surgery. Also, we're super broke. We're trying to figure things out, and like I waited to tell her. I think I told her like on. I think I told her the bad news like on Christmas Eve or something. I gave like terrible timing on like when I told her
That's when you
that I
waited?
had it. Yeah, I'm like, that's what you get for Christmas this year. That's my gift to you. Never had good timing with some relationship stuff. We have some other cringy stuff that we'll get into later. But I ended up having the surgery, and they showed me the chart of where the cancer's going. After you have to take a shake, and you can't eat anything, and you basically do like a CT scan or a CAT scan. And they showed me the chart of basically what the cancer looks like in my body. They put it up on a board, right? And it's just like an x-ray, but you see the pathway. And where my mole was, where they took that little spot out, you see a trail that's going directly towards my armpit, which there's lymph nodes in your armpit.
Right.
So they're like, we don't know if it's reached your lymph nodes yet. If it reaches your lymph nodes, it can go anywhere. It can go to your brain, it can go to your lungs, because those are like vessels in your body. So that was like another thing along the way that was extremely scary. That my family is like freaking out. They're trying to keep it cool, but the scariest thing, honestly, about the whole situation is is when someone looks at you who you love and they're trying to have a poker face, but they're looking at you like
they
think you're going to die. Yeah.
It don't look good over here.
I don't think I should go all in on this.
I don't know if you should make any New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I don't know if let's see here. I'm just gonna take this back real quick. Can we
I just fish one from the discard pile.
Yeah, can
one.
Can I get one courtesy card real quick, please? But they so that's going on. They show me the chart and like every step along the way. Like
so the shake you take lights up in your body inside.
It looks like an alien
road
life form.
map going toward your lymph node, but it stops.
It's black, just like this monitor, right? And it's literally like you see this white. It looks like an alien life form that's going, and then it just kind of trails off like it's fading away. And they're like, we don't know.
TBD.
TBD.
Yeah.
And I get another phone call while I'm at Red Lobster because that's how my family celebrates.
Let's go celebrate your cancer.
Let's go celebrate, man. Cheesy biscuits for everyone. You get a cheesy biscuit, baby. You get whatever you want tonight because you got cancer, baby.
For real, after cancer, you at the Red Lobster.
And guess what? If you beat this thing, we're going to Olive Garden, baby.
If the cancer don't kill you, the food poisoning will. Red Lobster. So wait, hold on. You leave this appointment now. They're saying, here's the deal. You see it's, and they cut how much out of you?
They haven't cut anything yet.
Okay,
because
so they're just lighting up and seeing where it is.
This is all the preliminary stuff, the appointments that there's like multiple appointments leading up to the surgery.
And you leave this appointment, same day, Red Lobster, you get a call same day.
Later, the Red Lobster call was after that.
But the same day, they're calling you.
It was like the next day.
Okay.
Because all this happened, the timeline's a little bit blurry because it happened so fast, but it all happened, the surgery and everything happened in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Everything happened. So I get a call like the next day or a couple days later while we're at Red Lobster. We're trying to have a good night. You know, we're trying to have some
Red
fun.
Lobster. That's what everybody's at Red Lobster for.
Exactly.
Have a good
right?
night.
And get those crab legs. Come on. So I get a phone call from the doctor that says, we don't want you to be alarmed, but we have found a shadow on your lung.
Fuck is that?
Exactly. So they're
That's
like
a weird thing to say to somebody.
I know that, which is like meaning it could have got to my lymph nodes already, and it could have spread to my lungs. They're like, we want to make sure we need you to come in as soon as you can to do another scan to see if it. Now we're going to do a chest X-ray, and my family at that point, like they keep hoping, you know, we're going to get little victories here and there. And that's just like a huge gut punch to everybody. And like my family's like going to the bathroom at Red Lobster, just like crying while I'm just
We're going to need these lobster to go here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, hey, could you put another batch of these cheesy biscuits in? Because
we got to get out of here real quick. But if there's any way we could get some lobster and cheese biscuits.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to be cool and play cool. I'm like, yeah, you gonna eat that? I'm just gonna. So I love the shrimp here.
But this is what also, and again, I'm ignorant to all this, so somebody out there will probably be like, you're a fucking idiot. But I would think that if someone had cancer, you would put them through every goddamn X-ray and test and everything. Like they would have already looked at your lungs, and now they're doing another one. Why? Well, they saw something on your lungs. So they must have had that. So now they're what? They're gonna do something like more invasive, or what are they gonna do?
No, I think that they just wanted to do position my body a different way so they could just take a different look at it, because I think the original way that they did it, I don't know, it just came up. And
when are you doing that X-ray? The next, obviously soon.
The next day or two, because like a few days later, so I finally get good news. They're like, they say, oh, the spot that we found on your lung is just a shadow. And I was like, from a shadow?
You have a shadow on your lung, or you mean on the X-ray?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, so they said, but they said that they're, I guess those spots are like, they're semi-normal. Like they're like nothing to worry about with that. I was like, okay.
Lung shadow.
Lung shadow. It's like a little spot on your lung that you get, and it shows up as a little
Shadow's
shadow.
a pretty tight nickname,
I know.
though.
Yeah,
I might start yelling that at you.
Hey, lung shadow.
Shadow!
Shadow!
Why you call him that? He went through
That's
cancer.
my dog,
He
and
went through
Jeremiah.
cancer.
Don't worry about it. It's my golden
Makes
retriever.
no sense. Why you call him that? He went through cancer.
He went through cancer. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, play. It's we all get it sometimes.
No. I want to disagree with you on that one.
Come on, man. Quit eating those Cheetos, those processed foods. Man.
I tell you all the time, it's that Dorito dust.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all have cancer now. Dorito dust.
Like LeBron.
At the picnic. That's how you should be at the picnic.
Yeah.
Dorito dust it all up. I'm here, y'all. Fucking orange dust everywhere. All right.
So I have the surgery.
Okay, so they take you in. Are you? But are you just fucking freaking out? How's it? Let me ask it this way.
Yeah.
How hard is it to not only stay, yourself for yourself, but also while your entire family is sobbing uncontrollably in the bathrooms at Red Lobster? Like, that's got to weigh on you. You have to be, the onus is on you to be like, it's all right, everybody, things are going to be fine. Like, or are you with them too? Like, holy fuck, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I one of the things that I do in my downtime to like help me collect my thoughts and stuff, and I've done it since I moved to LA, and it's helped a lot, is I do like daily journal entries and stuff like that. And I took down, some journal entries like while it was happening that like I look back on, and there's some pretty dark like thoughts and stuff that are going on.
You've read them, reread?
Yeah. And just me contemplating like if this is the end, and like the like.
Yeah, what stands out to you now that you think back on looking at those?
I mean,
like half off scallops at Red Lobster next Wednesday.
I got to get that sampler before I go. And ask them to no longer discontinue the lobster nachos, because those were my favorite.
They had those and they got killed.
They had lobster nachos when I was a kid, and I asked for them every time. I'm like, y'all got the lobster nachos back yet?
Not
and they're
since 79. What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want, honey? Why are you smoking indoors at Red Lobster? Just order it, all right?
Hurry up,
yeah.
man. I got it all up.
All right. No, I mean, I was definitely thinking while I was going through that, that I like wrote out, I was like, if, I die, like I want, my wife to like move on and like have kids and stuff like that. 'Cause that's something that she's always wanted. And I think that she deserves that. I was having thoughts like that, like, of kind of like working really hard as a comic and dying very unknown and not really getting my art kind of out there. It was in 2014. It's like, I was doing a little bit of stuff, but like I would have essentially been kind of labeled as an open mic death,
Couldn't make it to the big stage because stage 2 cancer took him. Jeremiah Watkins.
Stage 2 cancer at the Ice House, y'all. Let's do this.
That's the fucking side rooms at the club.
The side room is stage 2
skin cancer.
Stage 2 skin cancer. Oh, you couldn't make it on the main
stage
stage?
2 skin cancer room tonight.
Yeah, man. So yeah, you go through that, but the thing that like for me that I kept thinking, it wasn't an option for me to let myself sulk, because as soon as my family sees that I'm scared, they're going to be so much more worried and so much more concerned about me. So I just stayed as cool as I could, and I just kind of tried to zen out at like every visit, like that we go to the hospital. Like I just keep trying to make like my mom laugh and stuff. Like we'd be in the waiting room and we'd be in the cancer ward. I'd be looking around. I'd be like,
I could be this guy.
I'm like I'm looking around. I'm basically doing that. I'm like, I don't want to brag, but I'm the best looking guy in this cancer ward right here.
They're all looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing here, you piece of shit?
We'd be waiting like at the hospital, or we'd be like in the garage or whatever, and I'd just like fart in front of my mom. She's like, Bubby, stop. What? Gross. And I'm like, sorry, it's just the cancer leaving my body.
Leaving my body. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you know,
So you go for your-
but
yes.
I made a decision. You know, I'm gonna be strong. I have to be, and I said I kept telling my family over and over, it's good news until we hear bad news. I just kept saying that over and over. Try not to worry about it. Like, let's try to remain calm. Like, that it's okay until it's not. You know, and that's like what we did. And I had surgery, and they put me under, and they ended up cutting out 10 inches of skin across my back.
Man.
Yeah.
10 inches. God damn. A foot of your fucking back got cut out. How
Yeah.
deep?
It was.
Was it basically that line that you saw? They had
It
to
was the
cut
line,
that
but
whole
they
thing?
had to and the scar used to be bigger because they had it's slowly over time like mellowed out, but it was like a strip of my back, and it had stitches for a while, and I was back in LA a week or so after surgery because I was so insane and I didn't want to miss shows. Like, I remember, like, we had a festival coming up for Roast Battle, and I did a roast battle. I did the Wave, and that's a very physical show.
Fresh fucking stitches in your back?
I had stitches in my
Damn,
back, and I was
dude.
on pain pills, and I just kept telling Jamar and Willie, I was like, hey, just, like, be mindful of my back because I'm, like, in a lot of pain right now. And, like, I remember, like, after we killed it on like one of the bits, like, Willie be like, that was hilarious. I'm like, yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it worked out. And
When did you find out that it didn't go to your lymph nodes?
That was they had to take a lymph node out. That was like they did take they cut into
Precautionary or
a
because-
precautionary
all
thing.
right.
They took a lymph node out to check it to see if it had made it there yet. And luckily that was before they put me under for surgery, that it didn't make it to the lymph node.
They told you that before surgery?
They told me before surgery. So that was like a little
good.
victory.
So
you
going
know what
into
I mean?
surgery,
so going into surgery,
you
they're
knew
like,
once they get this, you're good.
exactly.
Fuck yeah.
And they're like, the success rate like of this surgery is very high, like so you should be good, like
Be back in Red Lobster in 45 minutes.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
get that curbside to go, you know.
God. That's
So
fucking
they
scary.
said basically, like, if I would have kept waiting, like if I waited even a couple more months, it could have made it to my lymph nodes, and it
And
would have
kill
been
you.
Yeah,
a mole.
a mole.
Man, yeah. So
Yeah.
I saw your post about going and getting yourself checked, and I've always been good about that anyway, but it reminded me, and I was like, I'm getting this shit looked at.
Yeah, I mean that's I made a post on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff recently, just sharing like a condensed version of that story, and just kind of urging people like, hey, don't try to be like a big tough guy about this. Like, this is serious stuff, and
Yeah.
and it can really affect you. So like, just go get checked out like by a dermatologist, you know.
Well, I'm glad you're all right, dude. That's fucking scary. And you say you haven't really talked about that on any podcast or anything.
No.
Much.
Man, that's a HoneyDew exclusive.
First, I thought you were doing an airline pilot, Ryan Sickler there. I wasn't sure what the fuck
You
that
on
was.
HoneyDew Airlines, y'all.
What I do want to get into, I would love to have a goddamn airline.
All right, does everybody have their earbuds? All right, let's put them in real quick. All right.
What would you like to talk about first, actually? Your parents' divorce or your sort of coming of age stories that you have here?
Let's do some coming of age, and then we'll bounce back to the darker.
All right. So if you haven't listened to Jeremiah's Crab Feast episode, you should absolutely do that. And on that episode, you talked about how you were a late bloomer when it came to masturbation.
Yeah.
Almost 18, I think you
Yeah,
said.
I was 17 and a half.
And several comedians have come on and said the same thing.
Yeah.
And they all have said also that they would have crazy wet dreams. And I deduced over the years of hearing these stories that I guess that if you're not masturbating, your body just emits it.
Yeah.
I was a guest on Dr. Drew's show a couple weeks ago, and that subject came up. And I didn't bring your name up, but I was like, yeah, a few comedians have come on, and he said that basically God gives you a hand job. Like, if you're not doing it, then the Lord will get it out for you.
Yeah.
So you had crazy wet dreams.
Yeah.
A lot. Like
A lot.
nightly.
Nightly. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was never beating it, So
Nightly.
nightly.
Until you started
Until I started.
masturbating.
And then I still was so backed up that, like, if I went a couple days without jerking off, like, the dreams would come back to me.
That often?
Yeah,
And
dude.
what was your? Because it's so long. I don't
think
remember. What was
I
your
also
system?
think that I have I come a lot, people. Okay.
Often or quantity?
No, quantity.
It's just even worse.
It's a lot.
It's even worse.
Sometimes sometimes I apologize to my wife. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. My bad. That's on me.
No, it's on her. Okay.
That's on I see what you're doing there.
Oh God.
Dude, I had one. No joke. I had one. My wife. I think I'm just like naturally like ready to go. And my wife went out of town for a weekend. I had one while she was. Yeah, this was just like last year.
No.
In 2018, I had one.
How old are you?
I'm 30, and I have this wet dream where. Are you familiar with Margot Robbie?
Oh, the wife in Wolf of Wall Street, and Harlequin from. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know who that is.
Yeah. How do you know a lot?
Big movie fan.
So I have this dream where, and I have no idea why the dream was this, but I'm speeding down the highway.
What kind of car are you driving?
It's a red convertible. It's like a Ferrari or something like that. And I'm speeding. I'm going like 130 while she is completely naked in the passenger seat, and I'm fingering her.
What the fuck?
Just going to town. She's giving me a blowjob. Like, we're going back and forth.
Yeah, you know, that natural 130 mile an hour fucking freeway ride. 130 miles an hour, blowjobs and figured. One hand on the wheel at 130. One hand on the wheel. 130 miles an hour.
And, I get to that moment where she's doing her thing. And, like, I come in the dream and I wake up and I'm just like, boosh. And I took a nap naked. So it got all over our sheets. It wasn't even in my boxers anymore.
Oh,
it was just all in the sheet. I was like, oh, it was embarrassing. Like, I'm glad my wife's out of town.
Home alone, embarrassed.
Yeah. I had a wet dream lying next to her one time though. I still have wet dreams.
You still have them?
Yeah, that one was at like 28, I think though. I had a wet dream like while like and we had just had sex too. That's what was crazy too. We had just had sex, and I had a wet dream next to her, like while like, yeah. Didn't mean to.
I've had two.
I love you. I love you, babe.
Loves you.
I love you.
I've had two in my life.
You had two in your life?
That's it, two. And I remember thinking like, because they would separate the boys and girls in the 5th grade, and they would take the girls over here, and they were like, "This is all the shit's gonna happen to you," and the boys like, "This is everything that's gonna happen to you." And wet dreams was one that they, like, I feel like I heard that a lot. It's nocturnal emission. Nocturnal emission. That's the technical term.
Yeah.
You're going to have this,
Which sounds so scientific.
It really
by the way.
does. It's a nocturnal emission.
Yeah, you think an owl is going to come jerk you off or something. Woo, woo. Woo.
And I remember, but see, I masturbated early. Like, I stumbled onto it between the summer of 5th and 6th grade, just sitting there batting the thing around for a while. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God. And then every night I tried to do that again.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was releasing myself. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I had two wet dreams. I was in 7th grade when I had my first one. I'm in my fucking twin bed next to my fraternal twin brother. And I fucking, I'm having a great dream. I don't even remember really what the dream was. And I just remember waking up and it felt amazing. And then immediately it was like, and I had to get up in the middle of the night, go clean myself and shit. I'm like, this
So
sucks.
You were disappointed?
I was really disappointed because the hand jobs I was giving myself were way better than that dream.
Well, what was the dream? Do you remember the dream at all?
I don't remember specifically.
See, my dreams are always so vivid that like when it happens, I'm like, worth the cleanup.
You should just start sleeping in like pajamas that you can come all over.
I mean, there would be weeks sometimes like where I'd be chasing that dragon where I'd be like, oh, I hope I have one of these. I hope it's Christmas morning, But
so you didn't masturbate, but you said you have written here some things you would rub against things and stuff. So you weren't. So what is it? Did you feel guilty about doing it, or
yeah? So I grew up super religious, right? So that was part of the like kind of guilt goes along with that. I
know they tried to put that guilt on me, and I was 5th grade. I was like, I'm going to hell. I'll take hell,
dude.
I'll take hell any day. I didn't give a shit.
I remember being in like 5th or 6th grade at this church camp, and us having this youth leader that was like, he was like probably in his 30s at the time, and he's like, I'm in like 5th grade. He's like, guys, can we talk about something that, since it's only the guys here, we all look at porn, right?
5th graders.
I'm like, I'm looking around like, and there's some guys that are like, yeah, and then me and a couple other kids are like, what?
Did he just say corn?
Corn or porn?
He's talking.
He's no.
I'm in 5th grade.
Pornography? What is that?
To me about porn.
Shucking corn. And he's like looking at us like almost like he like was venting like to make like it was like an addict who's like trying to vent like, come on, you can have a drink with me, come on. And he's like looking at us like 5th graders, like I'm looking at it like, dude, I don't know how to help you out here. I've never looked at porn before. And
pass the whiskey to your right, the weed to your left. Listen, guys, you watch porn, right?
Yeah, come on, guys.
I'm in 5th grade.
We all do it. I'm in 5th grade. I can't relate to this at all. So no, but guilt definitely goes along with that. And I feel like in some religions for sure. So I didn't want to do it, and then I was like, I gotta check this out, And one of the things I did after, because there's guilt that goes along with it.
Well, so let me.
I would try to find ways. Quick. Yeah.
Even though you weren't masturbating, did guilt still come along with your orgasm? Because that's really what they're saying is don't bring yourself to orgasm.
Oh.
You know what? At least that's the way I interpret it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get this far in.
I always felt like I always felt like the sin was the buildup and then
touching yourself.
Yeah, the touching yourself. But then like the release is like God is even like, all right, you get that.
You did it.
Like I don't want to see you doing this, but like if you must like get to that point, like I guess fine. So like I would only feel guilty like the build up and then like the cleanup. But like while like I'm in that moment,
so
I'm
funny.
like
You're still hunching and looking around while you do it. Yeah, you're still scared.
Is anybody gonna walk in? Yeah. So I would try to find ways like rather than just straight up jacking it. I would like rub it up against like my jean and stuff. Like if like I'd already started masturbating at that point, but what I would do is I would start rubbing it up against like pajama bottoms or like jeans or like basketball shorts or something like
Umbros.
that.
I used to do
those Umbros. Oh, those
nice
soccer
light,
shorts. Okay.
Nice and light.
Yeah. Are you masturbating with wind pants right now?
That's how I go to strip clubs, under Umbros and no underwear. They're like, you need to leave, sir. You need to leave. I'm like,
also, why are you wearing a backwards Kangol and aviators right now? And you just have a soul patch. This is a very distinct look.
This is real weird, bro.
This is real weird. So I would rub it up against like the side of my leg, like over and over. And I guess I was chafing it or whatever, but I would come and blood would come out.
What? Hold on. Are you sure it wasn't blood from your penis mixed with the semen?
No,
or
probably.
It would come out
it
of
probably
your dick?
Was. But it's funny that you brought up Dr. Drew because as a teenager, I thought about calling into Loveline because I was so confused and nobody was giving me these talks.
You need to go on his show and talk about this shit. That's what you need to fucking do.
And there was somebody who called in with like a similar story that he like, I happened to be like, it was like they used to broadcast it late at night. At one of the alternative rock stations in Kansas City, and I would like listen out for it. And there's a guy who like, and I would Google it and stuff like that. And like basically the articles and stuff like that were like, you need to like use some lubrication or you need to like stop rubbing it like on dry surfaces so much. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I did, I'll confess. So during my experimenting phase, and by the way, that phase hasn't stopped. I'm 46, it hasn't stopped. Still experimenting. And I wasn't sure which hand you used, bro. And that I had started doing that too. And then I was like, oh, someone said something about lubrication. I'm like, oh, so I had gone in the shower a couple times and I used soap. Yeah. But back then it would take a long time. And after a while, I realized that that's exactly what was happening was the soap, but I didn't know it was chafing in my skin.
Oh.
But that's not the bad part. The bad part is it will cause these micro tears. Okay? And then
this is like a rocket ship.
Cause these little tiny, that's what I made that up, micro tears, but these little tiny little tears on the skin. You know, you could see like pink skin all around, you know, because of the friction of the soap. It would dry eventually.
Pink Dick Sickler.
Dude. Then the next day, all you do is get boners all day long when you're fucking 13.
Right.
And
irritates
it would scab overnight. And then when I would get an erection, the skin would rip those scabs. I was like, oh, it would hurt so fucking bad.
That sounds horrible.
I only did that like 4 more times till I learned my lesson. I was like, I'm not doing that shit anymore.
It takes about 9 times, like doing something wrong with masturbation before all right, I'll change the technique, I guess.
So fucking bad. That shit hurts so bad.
All right. Yeah, is the shower your spot?
Anywhere private is mine. Anywhere private.
It used to be my spot.
Yeah, the shower was
until
forever.
I felt bad. We kept having to call the plumber because I had really long hair for a long time. My wife has long hair, and I kept jerking off in the shower, and then the shower would start to clog, and then the plumber would come.
Oh fuck, that's
dude.
Disgusting.
The plumber pulled out a baby Jeremiah. Out of the drain.
Nah.
It had a big nose. Just like, what's up,
Dad?
Hey, Dad, what's up?
That's disgusting.
Dude, it was one of the most horrifying things. I'm like, I will never come in my shower again. Now on the road and hotels
about it. And I fell out of the shower in 7th grade. My dad humiliated me.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was bad. Have you ever been caught?
There's times where I got really close where like my mom, I think my mom knew that one of my jerk off spots was I think she knew like my area was like our bathroom in the basement because around that time, like from like 17 to like 20, I lived in my mom's basement. And there was a bathroom. It was like an unfinished basement, and it was just like a bedroom, and then just like this little tiny bathroom with just a tiny sink and then a tiny toilet next to it. And that was like my spot. And I would be in there, like, and I would have like the exhaust fan on, going like, yeah, so you don't hear like the heavy breathing and the. Always got to turn that fan on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
quiet your belt loop.
Quiet it.
Quiet the belt loop.
Quiet it.
Buckle. Belt
so
buckle.
I used to do this thing. I'll say it. I used to do this thing where I would get lazy, where I would. Why am I? Where I would wait to have to poop. If I knew a poop was coming at some point, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna schedule my jerk cycles around the poop.
You're double dipping down there. You're jerking off in your own shit smelling that. Oh, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. That is sick. That is the grossest shit ever.
I would sit down on the toilet and I would masturbate on the toilet and I'd blow my load and then I'd wait for my boner to go down and then I'd be like, poop in the toilet.
That is ridiculous. Oh
God. So in the unfinished basement next to my bedroom and the bathroom is the laundry unit, is the wash machine and the dryer. So my mom would always come down in the basement.
You'd be in there for 45
so I'd be
minutes.
in there
There's
for
no
a long
shower
time. There's no shower. It's just a bathroom.
Can't even fake turn the shower.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm in here.
Yeah. So my mom would go, Bubby, what are you doing in there? And I'd be like, I didn't know what to say, so I'd always be like, ha, what do you think?
Shitting off?
I'm pooping and jerking off, Mom. What do you think I'm doing in here?
I never got caught. The closest was the aftermath of falling out of the shower, my dad having to call for help Also, my dad would do this thing where, because I have a twin brother, so we're same age, same shit's going on.
Yeah.
And and we had one bathroom. And
Did that help you out, having a brother at least to bounce things off of?
No, we never.
You guys didn't talk about it?
No, we never talked about it. We just did it. Like, I would disappear. We'd bathroom for a long time, but my dad would knock on the door. He'd walk by when you're in there for a while, and he'd go, "Leave it alone, let it grow a little bit." And I'd be like, he would say that, "Let it grow." Like, and I was holding it in my hand. While he's telling me to stop touching it. He would tell me to stop touching it so much.
But yeah,
and I remember he called us into his bedroom one night. He was just chilling and like laying on his bed watching TV, and he goes, "You guys masturbating yet?" We were like, "No." All super defensive.
Are you?
Right.
Are you, Dad? You're
Dad?
gross, Dad. Oh, okay.
And it wasn't until I said, "Is it really true you can go blind from masturbating?" that gave me completely away. And my dad just started laughing so fucking hard. He's like, "Okay, you're not masturbating."
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Well, good luck to you. Why don't you find out?
All right.
But there was this one time, I've told this on the Crab Feast, but I'll say it for any of the new people because it's a HoneyDew moment for sure. But I come home. I was living with a friend of mine. I consider my mom. I was living with a friend of mine, and his mom was like my mom. And he and I had gone separate places that evening, both get wasted. But I get a ride home, and I come in at like 1 a.m, and she's like, "Let me smell your breath." And I just, I breathe dragging alcohol fire all over her face. She's like, "Oh my God.
Have you been eating pussy again, Ryan?" Come over here. You've been hanging out with that Stephanie girl again.
Oh my God. So she goes, "Just go downstairs and sleep it off." So I go downstairs, and they have a really nice couch, which I always slept on. But for whatever reason, being drunk that night, I didn't sleep on there. I slept in her daughter's like in high school at this point, but it was this doll room from when she was little. It's like this little twin bed with this beautiful little print on it. And I mean, stuffed dolls on the floor, up in the window, just like this little girl doll room. Like, so I guess the only thing I can figure out is that I must have started masturbating and passed out in it. Okay, and then his mom comes to the door.
Oh my God, he's dead. There's semen everywhere.
She flicks the light on. She's like, "Hey, Ryan, can you go?" And what she's come to ask me is if, at this point, because it's been a couple hours, if I can go get her son if I'm too fucked up to go get her son. And she flicks the light on. She's like, "Hey, Ryan." Oh my God. And it wakes me up. And I just looked down. I was like, "Oh, yeah, sorry about that." And I just fucking went back to bed. But she was the coolest of all of them. And she was like, "What the fuck are you doing down there?" I was like, "I guess I started masturbating and I passed out during it." That's happened to me like a handful of times in my life.
Really?
Yeah, where I went to go get aggressive with myself and just quit in the middle and didn't know it. And I woke up and I was like, "Oh, I was jerking off, I guess." And it's always in bed late at night, drunk usually.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm into that.
But you have one here about
The sink?
Yeah, the sink.
Oh, man.
What the fuck is that all about?
So that bathroom, I feel bad for the new homeowners of that. Of that Olathe home in Kansas. It was an unfinished basement, but I finished a lot of that.
You sure as fuck did, dude. It was finished when you moved out of that.
When I moved out of there.
Oh my God. I got a jacuzzi in the east wing down here now. I finished this motherfucker. Holy shit.
So that sink I told you about is in that bathroom. Like, if I wasn't feeling the I did a lot of weird things in that bathroom. Like the first time I wanted to know, I hadn't had sex yet, but I wanted to know what a condom felt like. So I would jerk off into condoms in that bathroom just like to see what it feels like. And not as good.
Not as good.
And one of the things that I would do would I'd look at stuff on my computer in the basement, and then I would go to the bathroom to finish the job. But I would just nut in the sink because
because
the sink.
First of all, you're tall.
Waist level. I'm tall. And this is a tiny bathroom that's meant for like
I would
a
have
kid
been
or
coming
something
all
like
over
that.
the cabinet doors.
So I was just doing one of these where I'm just like,
in the
just
sink.
directly into the
Why
sink.
not the toilet?
Because it was at waist high.
That's your reason.
That was my reason, because I was like, the toilet, it could get everywhere, but like the sink, surefire. It's going right into the back near the faucet.
Company's coming over and splashing. Now I'm scared because that's
shaving and stuff.
That's whenever I go to like a big party or kids parties that have a lot of people. That's the bathroom I go find, the one that's out of the way, so I can go use it if I have to shit or whatever. You don't want to be around people. But now you're gonna creep me out about their teenage kids, and I'm splashing my fucking water in my face. Oh fuck! Coming in the sink. I used to pee in the sink.
Did you?
I lived when after my grandmother passed away. I lived in her house for a little while, and I was down in the basement, and it was 2 stories to go up to the one bathroom that we had in this little row home, and it was a wash tub basement, like right next to the washer and dryer. And it's the one the washer would backwash into and all that. And I was like, fuck it, it's bleach and everything. So I would just piss in there, so I didn't have to go upstairs. But I never jerked off in it.
Never jerked off in a sink?
No, hell no. And that one was waist high. I probably could have.
Just try it once.
Missed opportunity. I'm gonna go back to that house and
go back and be like,
ask
hey,
the people that live there.
Can
like,
I get a tour of this place real quick? I grew up here. I just want to see it real quick. What are you doing?
Is the sink still downstairs?
Yeah.
You have some great comedy stuff on here that I'd love to hear about. But before that, let's talk about your wife. You talked about getting engaged and then a controversial video, apparently, that your wife was not happy with. And you said what? You had to do what? You had to get her permission to tell this story?
Yeah, I had to make sure that it was okay. Like, I literally asked her. I had to get clearance because it was a serious thing that, like, it took a divot out of our relationship because of...
Like the one out of your back?
Yep. We'll be right back after this on the HoneyDew.
What do you want to talk about first, the engagement or the video?
Oh, man.
Let's do the video.
Let's do the video first. So, as a comedian and as a performer, you get certain, I don't want to say passes whenever you do certain projects, but I've had to do like when you're in a normal relationship, you're not going to ever kiss any other person or anything. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
You're
allowed to hug and that's it.
All you're allowed to do is hug. Hug the
like,
shit
I've had to do
somebody.
like some sex scenes in some movies and stuff like that before.
You had to.
I had to.
Right, yeah. Art. It's art.
I had to. And one of the things that I got asked to do was this project was just a YouTube video where, and I've always had these, like, we have discussions I have with my wife, like, if it's for the right thing, if I'm playing a character, if the project is right, like if I have to kiss somebody, it's like, okay, that's part of the character, that's part of the role for the movie or for the TV show, whatever. You're gonna have to do that at some point if you're acting long term and you're doing like being in different relationships or whatever. So we have an understanding, like, if it's in a professional way, then yeah, you do it for the gig, and it's usually like a money thing too, and sure, it works out. You're professional about it. I literally handled everything wrong about this YouTube video that I did. It was this video for All Deaf Digital, and it's still up online. It's called White.
This is for deaf people, right?
No.
It's not a digital platform for deaf people?
No, it's not a digital platform for deaf people.
Got it. My bad.
It's like the
Def Jam.
Def Jam.
Yeah,
like the cool kind of deaf.
Yeah, got it.
Not knocking. Anyway, so the video, I believe, is called "White Guys Kissing Black Girls for the First Time."
I've seen the black or white girls kiss a black guy.
You've seen these kind of videos.
Yes, I have. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
So I hit up my wife about it. We weren't married yet, and this was like kind of like at a time when it was like, are we doing this? Are we getting engaged? Like what's happening in our relationship? That kind of like those critical moments, like along leading up to a marriage, and we weren't engaged yet. But like she had been like kind of been like, what's going on with us? And I made the mistake of accepting to do this video. I cleared it with her before, but I wasn't like, I don't think I fully disclosed like all the details on it because I don't think I was even quite aware of what I was getting myself into. Because I get on set and they say like, you're playing yourself. You're playing Jeremiah Watkins, the comedian. And I could have backed out at that point and it been like a thing, but like I also would have let down all the people who were on set that day who like I was booked for that spot. And I was like, all right. So I'm like, I look right in the camera and I'm like, hi, I'm Jeremiah Watkins and I'm about to kiss a black girl for the first time. So I'm just playing Jeremiah. Right. There's no character. There's nothing involved. And we go to do the scene and I start kissing the black girl and you know me, I commit to everything and I commit hard. I double down to everything. So I was like, what's the funniest choice I could make right here? And I was like, you don't know her, right? You don't get to pick the girl. I don't know her at all. I don't pick the girl. I've never seen her before. And I was like, all right, what would be funniest if I go, ooh, I like that. Let's get some more of that. And me go back in for another kiss. Like me, like be like, that's the angle I'm going to play. So that's what I do. And like already like I had to call my wife like after that.
Right after that. Like,
and I'm in way too good of a mood.
Oh, shit.
She hasn't heard this octave in my voice.
That went great. It was so good.
I'm like pepping. I got pep in my step. I'm walking down the street. I'm shooting like, you know, hey, how's it going? And I made multiple critical mistakes in the phone call. She was
wait, real quick. Do you go back in for the kiss like you were going to?
I went in hard.
And she was cool. The girl was cool.
The girl was all about
Leaned
it.
into
we
it.
had chemistry.
Yeah, I can feel it. I feel it right now. I'm scared you're going to come on me. I only brought one.
It's going to be a lot, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So I call my wife and she's being, she's my girlfriend at the time, not even fiance yet. And she's being very sweet. And she's like, hey, how'd it go? You know, I'm like, it went great. And she goes, oh, so what happened? I was like, we started talking about it. And I don't know. I still don't know why I said this.
No, I already feel it.
I go, we're talking about the situation. I go, but you'd be happy. She was beautiful, so I was in good hands.
Oh, my God.
And she just goes, what? I go, I literally stammered like I had made like a huge mistake, like right out of a movie. I was like, She goes, how do you think I should feel about that? How do you think I should respond to what you just told me?
Well, you need to wait till you see the video. Let me know what you think. I'm not sure what they'll include in the edit.
So I apologize like right away. And it's already put a little bit of stink. I'm like in the doghouse now because like I didn't handle it professionally and I didn't handle it properly.
But also you know what you did in the video and you haven't told her all that yet.
Right. So the video hasn't come out yet. Fast forward to the video coming out. We had just gotten back in a groove. We're feeling good. Things are going well in the relationship.
How long? A few months before it hits?
Just like a month or so.
Okay.
Like we hadn't been talking about like, you know, we hadn't had that talk again recently about like, when are we getting married? When are you going to propose kind of thing? Like things were good. You know, we're vibing. This video comes out and the storm that happened from this video, I start getting messages on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. And she gives me a phone call.
From who?
From random people
that
have seen it. It goes to the front page of World Star Hip Hop.
The one place you don't want it to be.
Ryan, it goes super viral. I had people hitting me back from home in Kansas. They're like, that was hilarious. Hey, wait, don't you have a girlfriend? Dude, So my wife gets a call from one of her high school catty friends. There's like, hey, I saw your boyfriend in this video. Is he still your boyfriend? And she hadn't seen the video yet.
No.
She hadn't seen the video yet. So she opens the YouTube link that this evil woman sent her.
She sent her the link.
She sent her the link.
Just go to worldstar.com homepage.
Is this your boyfriend? She opens it and she calls me and leaves me a voicemail, and she's like she's very upset. She's very like sad the way like
they kept everything you did and they didn't cut it.
Everything. They have me going like, oh, I like that. Let me go back in for seconds. You know, like me like going back in and like me making out with this girl. And she's an attractive girl, and all the YouTube comments are like, because it was multiple different couples who did it, all of the YouTube comments like in a row are like, that one black guy and that one goofy, the one black girl and that one goofy white guy have real chemistry. 300 thumbs up. Do you think they met up after this? I hope so. 200 thumbs up. Another comment. I think their mixed kids would be really cute together. 125 thumbs up. So of course she's reading all this, and also
the approval.
Yeah, and all the approval from everybody else. She knows that I already like showed my cards, and that I happen to maybe enjoy it and not be professional about the situation. And she, she saw it as me taking advantage of a situation, which I kind of did. It was like kind of the wrong move. I was like, oh, well, I guess we're doing this. Well, I'm Jeremiah. I'm going to freaking double down and commit to this thing and have fun. Let's freaking go. And all this is going on while we have bed bugs at our place that I brought home from a gig in Vegas.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So we're sleeping on an inflatable mattress.
And she's fucking
in my living room, and I just feel the tension, and I'm just like, just trying to, hey, and just like try to work back to some medium level, and it worked out obviously, but it took like it was a bad thing on my end that I like just did not handle properly at all. Everything that I did. Yeah. Oh my God. It was a mess.
So with roles like that, you said you have some pretty embarrassing or cringy audition stories. Let's hear some of these.
Yeah, man. When I moved to Los Angeles from Kansas, nobody gives you a roadmap or a guide or anything.
But there isn't one.
There isn't one.
No, there's not.
But some people might know somebody in the industry to be like, go here or there. I went out here completely blind. So I feel like I truly made all the mistakes that you have to along the way to like get to like a place where you're like, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it. I did all the wrong things. Perfect. Now I know not to do that again. Like what I would do whenever I first came out here from Kansas is any audition that I would go to, I would treat like a job interview, and I would dress up like
not for the part.
Not for the part.
In a suit?
Uh-huh. I was
you're a gangbanger?
I was suit guy
with
at the
heart
audition.
and purpose.
Yeah, I would have like a tie, I'd have a dress shirt on.
Every audition.
I'd have slacks. Oh yeah. So I'm looking around the room, right? And all these people are in t-shirts. So I'm like, I look way better than all these idiots.
I'm definitely getting this. Attending gig.
And I remember being like dressed like in baggy dress clothes that I inherited from like an older brother or dad. Me thinking I'm like, looking super dapper and great. And me looking around and being like, oh, I got this Proactive commercial. This is mine. I'm looking like a full adult, like auditioning for a 15-year-old role while I'm like 20 years old. And I'm dressed like an old man, like going in for the role. And I used to dress up like that all the time. And I'd print off my resume like a job resume, not like an acting resume. Like I'm like, I used to work at Waterway Car Wash.
You put that on there? Waterway Car Wash.
I used to work at Pisano's down the street, man. I used to work Wolf Creek Golf Club,
Yes,
men's
that's right.
only.
He was a vacuumer.
Yeah, yeah.
Down at the Waterway Car Wash.
And I would print the most cringy picture of myself on computer paper resume, like in the top little
I've done
corner.
That before, yeah.
And I'd hand it in, and they like instantly when they'd just feel the paper, they'd be like, "This guy doesn't know what he's doing." So I do that all the time. And then I was taking classes at Second City, and I had another friend from Kansas who had actually been out here that I met out here. That I found out she was from Kansas, and she was just very blunt. And she goes, "Why are y'all dressed up like that?" I'm like, "Oh, I had an audition." She goes, "What were you auditioning for? Like a court scene or something like that?"
Yeah, right.
I go, "No, it was for an acne commercial. I think I might have got it." And she goes, "You're auditioning like looking like that?" She goes, "Jeremiah, you look like a damn fool. Stop dressing like that. What are you doing? You look ridiculous. Dress like you normally would, like in a t-shirt and jeans, and go in that." And like she literally told me the right thing to do, and like I gained a lot of experience just from somebody being like, "You are an idiot. You're not doing this right at all." So that was helpful. But some of the auditions that I would go on, I would self-submit. And when you're self-submitting, you go out for a lot of weird things. And one of the things I went out for was just like for the surfer role. I was like, okay, I had long hair at the time. I was like, I have a good chance of getting this. I go in, it's this dude's apartment, and there's just a legal pad for the sign-in.
I'm here to get my mole checked.
Yeah. Hey, I got a spot on my back. I don't know.
I got back cancer.
I got back cancer. I got
back cancer.
I don't know if you need a surfer with back cancer. Paddling out.
You got back cancer.
And so I sign in, and I'm like waiting, and I'm the only one there. There's nobody else there. And then the guy's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Hey, dude, here for the surfer role?" He goes, "Okay, cool. Pop your shirt off." I was like, "Okay." All right. Surfer, you're shirtless. That makes sense for the role, for the audition, right? Pop the shirt off, and he frames up his camera, and he films me for a few seconds. And then he goes, "All right, great. I got it. Thanks for coming in, dude."
Nah. That's it, dude. I wonder what the fuck ever happened.
Dude, I don't know. He didn't have me say my name or anything.
I was on the legal pad.
I drove to this dude's house in the valley and just like took my shirt off.
Was in the valley.
Just took my shirt off, and he's like, "All right, we got it." I was like, "What?"
Like, who's we?
I was like, "Who's we?" He's like, "Who are you sending this to?"
Is this we?
I was like, "So you'll be in touch?" He's like, "Nah." So I'd
That's fucking creepy.
I would self-submit for these really weird things that an agent, of course, would never send you on. This is before I had representation or anything like that. So it's the Wild West. Coming out here from Kansas, you're hungry. You got that fire in your eyes.
You were the Wild West.
Yeah.
What the fuck you talking about? Kansas is the Wild. I've been to Dodge City, Kansas. I've stayed in a motel on Wyatt Earp Boulevard.
All right, you get it then.
Dodge City, bro.
So there's a hunger, you know? I'm coming out here hungry. And so I'm submitting on Craigslist. That was a Craigslist one that I submitted for. That wasn't through like a proper casting site.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I know. Yeah, right? Big surprise in hindsight, right? Isn't that weird? So bizarre. I go on this one audition that I submitted on LA Casting where I get in the room, and the role is for guy on toilet. And
You got
I'm
this.
like, I think I got this.
You spent a lot of time in that little
Well,
bathroom.
that's what's weird about this. So at first he's like, all right. The casting director's in the room, and he's a very weird, intense guy. He's like, all right, you're taking a fat shit right now. He goes, you're taking a fat shit and you're pushing. It's like, it's really giving you trouble, right? You really get into it. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, you have this thing going, like, when you're on set that you can kind of be taken advantage of a little bit when a camera's rolling, when somebody's, like, directing you, you're in the zone. You're just starting to do it. It's just this dude in the room.
And his camera.
And his camera. This was at a semi-normal casting office, though. It was just it was a non-union, like real low rate.
Of course.
I was like, hopefully I can make $200.
Right, exactly.
Right? So I start pushing. I'm like, he's like, all right. He goes, all right, now start jerking off.
Nuh-uh.
I'm serious, 100%. I'm like, what? He's like, you're jerking off on the toilet. You're pooping.
Part's made for me.
I'm like, what?
That's for real?
That is 100% real.
I can't even believe that he tapped right into your child.
I was like, what? I was like, method, go back. Meisner.
And then what?
So then he keeps directing me on
You don't need any direction. You're a fucking pro at
Yeah,
this.
I'm just going to town and I'm committing 1,000%. I get an email.
My dick's out.
I get an email notification. I got the call back.
It's a call. You didn't even get the part.
Yeah, they're like, it's a different. I didn't even get it. There's a second audition.
There's two
That's how hard Hollywood is. For anybody who's wanting to move here,
fucking truth.
you get a call back for that role. You don't even book that role. And I'm like, yeah.
And then when you blow up famous, they release that video. I'm like, here's Jeremiah in an audition.
It's him jerking off, taking a shit in an audition. TMZ. Here's Jeremiah Watkins dumping and coming at the same time.
Oh, my God.
So I go to the callback, and they're like, great news. We changed the role. I go, awesome. Great. He goes, this time, you're going to be doing yoga, sucking your own dick.
Is that real?
Yes. I can't make this stuff up, dude. And I look at him. He goes, how flexible are you? And
My schedule, or what are we talking
Yeah,
here?
what are we talking about? Body? Are we talking about Mondays, Thursdays? Because I'm at Starbucks those other days. What are you talking about?
I do have an established rate for this.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm actually very flexible. I'm a, physical comedian. I can do this. So they have me, and this is in front of producers now.
How many people?
There's 3 other people in the room and the casting director. Okay.
And do you know what the role is for, like the product?
It's for
or whatever
some
the fuck
European commercial. So that's why I'm like, I guess this could air in Europe.
They
I
do
don't
get
know.
a little funkier over
Like
there.
I'm like already in disbelief. I'm like, I guess this could maybe air somewhere. Like if 250 is on the line, I mean,
it's gonna be big in Belgium.
Yeah,
it's gonna be big in Belgium.
Wait till it hits Switzerland.
Wait till you get over there one day and you go international. People,
it's just on
they'll
every
all
digital
know you. They'll all know
billboard.
you. Yeah.
Oh,
there he is.
It's a yoga guy. So I'm on the floor and I'm completely, I'm really like going for it. I have like my legs completely down. Like if I got on this table, I could do it right now.
I don't know if it could hold you.
Oh, it could hold me. So I'm doing the motions and stuff. They love it. There's like this, there's this couple European producers who are on it that have like some like Dutch or Swiss accents or whatever. And I am like, I tell myself after I leave there, I'm like, even if I get this, I got to turn this down. This is weird. This is too weird. I get the phone call. You booked it.
Your boy booked it.
Booked it. And I tell the casting director on the phone, I go, you know what, man? I've been thinking about this, and I don't feel comfortable doing this role. And
we got some stretchers. We can help you out.
Right,
Get
right.
people
We
warm
get
you
you
up.
loosen those
Get you
hammies.
some spotters.
We'll rub you down a little bit. And I said, I don't feel comfortable doing this role. And his tone from happy went to enraged instantly. And he goes, I put my neck on the line for you.
I put my dick on the line for you.
And he goes, you can't. He goes, I booked you for this. This is your role. You're going to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable about that. He goes, I'm going to ruin you. You will never work in this town again. I know the head of LA casting. I'm going to give them a call, and your profile will never be seen on this network again. Click.
Thank you.
And I'm just like sitting on my bed, and I'm just like,
Are you
did I make the right decision?
Trying to roll back and see if he can really suck your own dick?
I'm like, I booked that part for a reason. I'm sitting on my bed. I get a call 10 minutes later. Hi, is this Jeremiah? Yes. Hi, this is one of the other producers on the project.
This is damage.
Yeah, we're really sorry about the phone call that you just received. We just heard that he gave you a call and was a little unprofessional. We would like to offer you a different role on the shoot. I'm like, great. I go, what is it?
You're gonna
and
suck
they go,
the guy's dick after he's done.
And I go, and I go, sure, what is it? They're like, you're gonna be shaving your pubic hair on camera. And I go, I'll take it.
Did you do that?
I went up to this weird
what was
mansion.
It for? Like Gillette or
dude,
some shit?
it was some razor company. Or for some app. It was so weird. I don't even remember the exact thing that it was for. I go up to this mansion in the hills, like way far out. It takes me like 45 minutes to drive there, and they say that they'll pay in cash. I'm like, perfect. And they wanted me to like show my pubes like on screen, and I was like, that's weird. Like I don't want to do it. I'll mime the motion. And I was in and out of the shoot in an hour and a half, and it was just very weird. The director was coming over to me, and he was like touching my hair, and he's like, "You're a very pretty boy."
What? Nah.
Dude, yes, I'm not, dude.
A pretty boy?
You are a pretty boy. Nice.
How much money were they
nice
paying
hair.
you?
$200.
You could have shook a couple and a quarter and made
I know. So they keep asking me to do this weird stuff on camera. I'm like, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, I'm like, you have me here for this. Like, I'll do this, but I'm not gonna get too weird. Like for this, you guys just aren't paying me enough.
I have back cancer.
Come on, I don't even know it yet, and I have it. And so they had me mime me shaving my pubic hair because I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm not gonna show my pubes and shave them on camera. Fast forward to a few years later, season 1 finale of Roast Battle. I'm the first person to shave their pubic hair on Comedy Central live on a show.
Are you really?
Yep.
You're experienced, man.
I'm experienced.
A veteran.
I gotta get my reps in before I do this.
Holy shit, that is fucking weird and creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gross, man.
I mean, I've got so many weird audition stories.
Well, one story you do have here is a bit of a redemption story, and I think that would be a great way to close out the episode.
Sure.
8th grade.
Yep.
Take us back to 8th grade and what happened to you.
8th grade. This is going back a while. Going back to Prairie Star Middle School.
What was your
Kansas.
mascot?
The Panthers.
Prairie Star Panthers.
Prairie Star Panthers.
Okay.
So I'm the new guy. I'd gone to private school up from preschool all the way to 7th grade. And then my family moved a little bit farther south. And we were in a new school district and decided we're going to go to public school. I was like, all right, great. So I'd been playing basketball my entire life. And I was very excited to try out for the team because basketball is one of my sports. Grew up playing it. I've always loved it. And I thought that was going to be part of like my introduction to, like part of your identity.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
When you are
easiest,
a kid.
fastest way to make friends.
Exactly.
Everything.
You're connected right away.
Yep.
So I auditioned. I've been in LA too long. I auditioned for the basketball team, and
Look, can you suck your own dick and make some layups? We only need about 4 from you.
All right, say your name and take a jump shot before we start rolling. And so I try out, and I do really well. And because they knew that I was a new kid and that I was not from one of their other feeder schools, and I hadn't, like, some of those kids had already been there. 6th grade, 7th grade. It was a 6th, 7th, 8th grade middle school. And they knew that this was my first year in 8th grade. So they purposely didn't put me on the A squad.
But they hadn't seen you play.
They hadn't seen me play or anything.
They just said, fuck it, you're going to
There's
B
like,
team.
you're going to go on B squad. There's an A1, there's an A2, there's a B1, and there's a B2.
What are you on?
They put me on B1.
So two levels lower.
2 levels lower.
Okay.
And I was like, huh. Okay. Cool. And, my mom specifically has always been super supportive. My dad as well, but like especially with sports and passions like that, my mom would like go to every game and stuff like that. And I started showing out to every game because I had something to prove now. Like, because a lot of the
chip on your shoulder now.
I have a huge chip on my shoulder. There's a lot, and the other guys on my team, like, I don't think are that great, but like, I want everybody to rise to the occasion and like us start, putting up some stats. And I started scoring.
But did those dudes on your team know how good you were? They probably did because they started practicing.
They did because
like,
we started playing. We started playing, and then it was like, why are you on B squad? But there's and the school's defense, there's like a couple other kids. There's like, really, why is this kid not like a little bit higher up or whatever? This happens sometimes. But I put up every game. I'd put up between 30 to 40 points a game.
30 to 40. Are you serious? And they never switched you one time. It's like Teen Wolf, dude. You like went to Teen Wolf and took the team.
I was having double doubles. I was having triple triples some games.
And they never promoted you up or anything? You just had to stay there?
I had to stay and ride it out the entire season.
And just made them fucking pay.
And just like every game, just playing as hard as I could and just like trying to like show people how good I was.
35 to 40 points is sick, dude.
I know.
That's sick. Like, what were the other kids averaging?
I mean, if 15, like on my team, I mean, like 15 would have been great. You know what I mean? But like, I was just like so ruthless down low, like using the body. I played center and power forward in 8th grade.
Did any of the coaches ever come over to you like, hey, sorry about that, man?
My mom called them out after the season ended, and I had all my stats and everything, and they like were paying attention to it because I did the morning announcements.
Like you got up in the principal's office and got on the mic.
And one of the things of the morning announcements was you read the stats and highlights of the basketball season.
Fuck yeah.
And I go, after every game, because I did it every week, I go, Jeremiah Watkins had 42 points and 18 rebounds.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That was going out over the entire school, and the coaches are having to like listen to this every single week of me being like, Jeremiah Watkins with another double-double.
But a sick double-double. I mean, 10 points and 10 rebounds is a good night.
Yeah.
Fucking 40 points. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Good for you.
So I was the highest scoring kid of the season. And my mom,
all the teams, all 4 teams.
I believe so. At least the B squad. The B2 squad was real rough. Like imagine
slapping at
they're
it
just like
shit, picking it up and running with it.
They're just like barely gripping the ball on the B2. I'm just looking at them like, oh, Godspeed, my friends. Keep on keeping on. But my mom called one of the coaches out. He goes, "You see my son? MVP, right there. You looked over him." And the coach goes, he smiled. He's like, "Yeah, Mrs. Watkins, we made a mistake."
That's great.
And it was like one of those moments where it's like, that's nice to hear someone own up at least, not to brush it off or whatever. But it was one of those things where, like sometimes you're dealt a bad hand, and I could have easily quit the team and been like, I'm too good for this.
Right.
I'm not doing this. But I saw the season through, and that's how I've tried to live my life, and with comedy and everything, is doubling down, committing to everything, and trying to make the best out of whatever situation that's thrown at you,
100%. Yeah. Good for you, brother. First of all, thank you for coming on here, and even more importantly, I'm glad you're fucking healthy and okay, man. That's scary shit. I didn't know that. You kept that pretty quiet.
I did. Well, I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. I also didn't want people to worry about me while it was going on. Until it was completely in the clear, because I had to keep doing checkups and stuff like that, over the years, and I'm completely clean and clear now, and I just go in for like body scans
I was
like every
gonna
6 months and stuff like that.
Go get your moles checked.
Yeah, go get those checked out, player.
Fuck
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, brother.
Dude.
Really.
And my marriage is still happening, so that's
Thank
great.
God.
I know. I'm
Thank
grateful
God.
for that.
You ever hear from the black girl ever? She ever hit you up? From
I
time
had to delete her from my memory.
Fuck social media.
See you later.
My memory.
Yeah.
Will you please one more time promote whatever you like, your album? Make sure you go pick up Jeremiah's album.
Yeah, June 7th, Reagan and Watkins. It's going to be released on all platforms. And follow me on social media at Jeremiah Stand Up. I do daily videos and a lot of fun stuff, and touring all the time with my Stand Up and Kill Tony and Stand Up on the Spot, the Comedy Jam, Roast Battle, and check out tour dates at jeremiahwatkins.com.
There it is, brother. Thank you for coming on. I am Ryan Sickler on all social media, ryansickler.com. Talk to you all next week.